Have you ever heard something from your attic? A scratch, a whisper, or footsteps? Most say it's just the house settling. But what if it's not? What if something or someone is up there watching, waiting? Tonight, I'll share 5 terrifying, true stories where fear came from above. And trust me, the last one might make you think twice before opening that attic door. Are you brave enough to stay until the end? Comment 1 if you dare investigate, or 0 if you'd rather not know. Story 1. The Attic Stalker. Jerome and Ashley Kennedy are a young couple who have just moved into a historic Pittsburgh townhouse with their 10-month-old baby. They enjoy a peaceful life until a series of unsettling events shatter their sense of security. The unsettling noises begin quietly, light rustling and scurrying from the attic. At first, Jerome dismisses them as normal house noises. But one night, as he lies in bed, the noises become more distinct and he notices a faint light flickering through a pipe in the attic, moving erratically as if searching for something. Feeling increasingly uneasy, Jerome decides to install a surveillance camera in the attic, hoping to find the source of the noises. The next day, when he reviewed the footage, he was horrified to see a shadowy figure moving stealthily between them. To his shock, the figure was none other than their reclusive neighbor, Robert Havrilla, a 73-year-old man known for his solitary lifestyle. Robert had drilled holes through the shared wall between Kennedy's home and his own. The camera recorded him using a power drill, creating precise circular holes that allowed him to spy on Kennedy's living space. Jerome's heart raced as he realized that Robert had not only infiltrated their attic, but was also watching their private moments through these holes. Jerome quickly contacted the police. Authorities arrived and charged Robert with stalking and trespassing. Robert's defense attorney claimed that he was merely performing maintenance work related to his home renovations and had no malicious intent. However, the extensive damage and invasive surveillance leave no doubt as to Robert's true motives. Even more disturbing is that Robert appears to be aware of the camera. He glares directly into its lens at one point, but continues his knowing that their neighbor has been secretly watching them from above leaves Jerome and Ashley feeling violated and deeply confused, casting a shadow over their once safe home. Story 2. Creature on the Roof. When the young couple first moved into their charming new home, they were filled with excitement and optimism. The house, with its cozy attic and spacious garage, seemed perfect for starting their new life together. However, their joy was soon overshadowed by a series of unnerving occurrences. The couple initially dismissed the faint, irregular noises coming from the attic as nothing more than the house settling. The sounds, soft rustling, and occasional thumps were infrequent and easy to ignore. But things took a turn for the worse when they discovered their dry-boxed food in the garage had been torn open and scattered across the floor. The couple was bewildered. How could this happen? They had locked the garage door, and there were no signs of forced entry. Determined to uncover the source of the disturbance, they decided to set up a security camera in the garage. The couple hoped the footage might provide some answers. That evening, as they relaxed in their living room, they heard a particularly strange and jarring noise from the roof. It was a sharp scraping sound, unlike anything they had heard before. Their curiosity quickly turned into dread, and they decided to investigate. The husband grabbed a flashlight and the camera's monitor, and they both headed outside. The darkness seemed to stretch endlessly around them, the only light coming from the beam of the flashlight and the faint glow of the streetlights. They used the camera's light to peer up at the roof, hoping to catch a glimpse of whatever was causing the disturbance. What they saw was both confusing and horrifying. A half head of what appeared to be a grotesque mask or perhaps a strange creature was peeking over the edge of the roof. The face was pallid and distorted, with hollow eyes and a menacing grin that seemed to leer directly at them. It was as if something or someone was deliberately watching them, and the intensity of that gaze sent shivers down their spines. So with their hearts pounding, the couple decided to get a closer look. The husband, trembling with fear, climbed out onto the roof. The cold, uneven shingles under his feet seemed to shift with every step he took. As he approached the spot where he had seen the unsettling figure, a sudden, sharp snap echoed through the night. The figure's head reappeared, now fully visible and glaring down at him with an even more sinister expression. The eyes were dark, and the grin seemed to stretch impossibly wide, revealing jagged, uneven teeth. Overcome by a surge of terror, the husband nearly lost his balance, his legs shaking uncontrollably. He stumbled and nearly fell off the roof, his fear escalating with each passing second. The sight of the grotesque figure, so close and so menacing, was more than he could bear, but in a frantic rush, he scrambled back towards the safety of the attic access. The couple fled inside, their minds racing with a mix of confusion and terror. They locked all doors and windows, their hearts racing as they tried to make sense of what they had just witnessed. The figure on the roof remained an enigma. Was it a person in a disturbing mask or something far more sinister? The uncertainty only added to their mounting dread. In the days that followed, the atmosphere in their once welcoming home shifted dramatically. The unsettling encounter had left them on edge, their sense of security shattered. Every creak and groan of the house seemed amplified, and the comfort of their new home was overshadowed by the lingering fear of what might be lurking just beyond the edge of the roof. The couple's once happy abode had become a place of anxiety and perpetual unease, a constant reminder of the terrifying figure that had watched them from the dark. Story 3. The Intruder Lurks. Stephen Braun, 17, was home alone one evening, engrossed in a video game. The large empty house was eerily quiet until Stephen began to hear disturbing rumbling noises coming from the attic. His father, who was at work, expressed concern that the unusual sounds might be caused by a malfunctioning water heater, which was awkwardly located in the attic. Despite his fear, Stephen decided to investigate. He grabbed his phone to record the experience and ventured into the dark attic. After checking the water heater and seeing that it was working properly, he prepared to leave, but then a cold sound caught his attention. From inside a long, large box, Stephen heard a rustling sound. He cautiously approached the box and looked inside. To his horror, he saw an eye staring at him through a small hole. The sight was so horrifying that Stephen froze, unable. He abruptly stopped recording and ran downstairs, locking himself in his room. Panicked, Stephen called his father, who instructed him to hang up and call 911. As Stephen waited in his room, he heard footsteps coming down the attic and running out the front door. When the police arrived, they found no trace of the intruder, and nothing had been stolen from the house. The unsettling experience left Stephen deeply frightened and confused, with the haunting memory of that staring eye seared into his mind. Story 4. The Old Man in the Attic. A couple was overjoyed when they finally moved into their charming new home. With its cozy, quaint rooms and a small, hidden attic, it seemed like the perfect place to start their life together. However, their excitement quickly gave way to unsettling. It all started with soft, intermittent noises coming from the attic, faint scratching and scuffling noises that they initially ignored as the house settled in. But as the days turned into weeks, the noises became more distinct and terrifying. The couple tried to ignore them, but the sounds grew louder and more persistent, echoing through the walls at night. One particularly cold evening, the husband, determined to put an end to the disturbances, decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight and a camera, he climbed the creaky attic stairs. The space was cramped, with exposed beams and dusty corners. The dim light of his flashlight pierced the darkness as he carefully examined the area, finding nothing out of the ordinary. As he moved around, he could hear the faint whistling of the wind outside, mixed with the strange creaking of the house. His wife, growing increasingly anxious, continued to film from below, hoping the camera would capture whatever was causing their distress. After a few tense minutes, the husband began to descend the stairs, feeling a little more at ease. Just as he was about to reach the bottom of the stairs, the camera caught a brief but horrifying image. A gaunt, wrinkled face peering down from the darkness of the attic. The face was old and distorted, with deep wrinkles and sunken eyes that seemed to pierce the darkness. The expression was malevolent and sorrowful, as if it belonged to a soul caught between worlds. The scene was fleeting but deeply unsettling. The couple's blood ran cold as they watched the footage. The face disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, leaving them with a lingering sense of dread. They speculated that it might have been a squatter seeking refuge, but the cramped space of the attic made it unlikely that anyone could have hidden there undetected. Over the following weeks, the couple found themselves increasingly on edge. The noises from the attic had stopped, but the memory of the old man's face haunted them at night. Every creak and groan from the house took on a sinister quality. Their once safe home had become a place of anxiety and fear, where the fleeting image of a ghostly face reminded them that some mysteries were better left unexplored. Story 5. The Rake-like Creature. Josu Silva's nights are disturbed by unsettling noises on his roof. At first, a distant rustling that he tries to ignore, the sounds grow louder and more persistent, interrupting his sleep and increasing his unease. On July 14, 2011, armed with a camera and determined to discover the source of the noises, Josu decides to face the unknown. The night is eerily quiet as Josu steps outside, the darkness enveloping him like a shroud. He sets the camera to record the roof, scanning the area with the weak beam of his flashlight. The chill in the air seems to amplify the sense of foreboding. The camera's lens cuts through the darkness, revealing the shingles and the shadow of the roof. As Josu continued to record, the silence was broken by a sudden, sharp noise, like something large and heavy moving across the roof. His heart pounded in his chest as he made out a strange shape through the camera lens. The creature that appeared was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was a grotesque, rake-like entity with a bald, round head and a distorted, featureless face. Its skin seemed pale and stretched tight over its bones, giving it the appearance of a... The creature moved with jerky, unnatural grace, its limbs long and thin. Josu's breath caught in his throat as the creature's presence grew more and more terrifying. The sight was so terrifying that Josu stumbled and lost his balance, falling from the roof in a mad dash. The camera captured his panicked descent, the creature's strange shape still visible in the flickering light. Shaky but determined, Josu grabbed a rifle and climbed back onto the roof. His fear was palpable and his hands shook as he scanned the area. The creature was gone, leaving no trace. Josu's heart raced as he searched the roof, but there was no sign of the strange creature. The experience left Josu with a deep sense of dread. The footage, though shaky and grainy, served as a haunting reminder of the night he encountered something unexplainable and terrifying. The once peaceful nights were now filled with the nagging fear that something invisible and malevolent was lurking just beyond sight. waiting for the next opportunity to make its presence felt. If you enjoyed these scary stories and want to hear more horror stories that will take your breath away, give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. By liking and subscribing, you will never miss out on the latest horror stories and safety tips to stay alert. Your support helps us bring you more thrilling content and build our community of horror enthusiasts. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new video is released.